essentially what I'm saying is in the last year or so, we've seen a lot more examples of the sort of cyber espionage and cyber warfare that you tend to specialize in. Is this like a signifier that is where war is or conflict is going? And is that a concerning thing, or is that suggesting that we've all just decided that America or any nations in the world are militarily well enough defended that is not the avenue by which they seek to destabilize or attack their rivals or geopolitical enemies?
Okay, that was a lot of questions. So let me unpack some of this stuff.
Sorry, that's a lot.
Versus NSO stuff is merely being recently reported, right? This story goes back 5-10 years. And that's really an issue, in my humble opinion. Somebody's trying to make money, and the government, which has the authority over export controls, doesn't seem to be managing it as assiduously as one would like. Okay? So that's one thing. The second thing is ransomware is getting more worrisome. Why? Partially, it's because with Bitcoin, the things I could do to you by making your systems misbehave are much more lucrative and easier to transfer. And the second phenomena, I believe, is that the ransomware people underestimated how much money they could get from ransomware. They didn't ask for very much. And now they're thinking, we've been underpricing our services. Okay. The fact that Colonial Pipeline, which transports petroleum products, got hit does not, to me, say that it's an infrastructure attack. Because it wasn't the ransomware that closed the pipelines. It was the corporation that closed the pipelines. Okay, it was their choice. Now, whether that was a wise choice, that can be debated. But it was not as if the ransomware people had closed the pipelines. Okay, or that they really cared that there were pipelines. All they cared was that somebody would come up with a large ransom. Okay, so the ransomware problem is growing. So those are some of the sort of the technical issues. Another technical issue is in the last 5 years, a lot of hackers have found that what are called supply chain attacks, where I don't go after you, I go after the software you use, I corrupt the software, you buy the software, and all of a sudden that software that you trusted isn't really working for your interests anymore. Okay, that seems to be growing in popularity. And that in and of itself is a separate problem that needs to be worked. Okay. All of that technical stuff aside. Now the question is cyber a viable method of warfare? And you have to get back to the problem, what are you trying to do with warfare? Right? Are you trying to take territory? Probably really hard to do that with just cyber. Okay? Are you trying to create regime change? Probably really hard to do that with just cyber. Are you trying to make money? Actually, you can do that with cyber, right? But if you look at if you compare how much money the Russians have made from ransomware versus how much they've lost because of Western sanctions on the Russian economy, it's not even a close contest, right? It's millions versus billions. Can we cause the election of people we don't like with cyber warfare? Right? In my humble estimation, I think the Russians got an inside straight in 2016 because of a confluence of unusual factors that, generally speaking, it's not been easily replicable. By the way, a lot of what happens in cyberspace is people say, I wonder if this would do me any good. I wonder if that would do me any good. And then they try it. And while they try it, we're running around saying, oh my God, the world is falling. And then at some point they say, that really didn't do for us what we wanted it to do. Let's go on to something else. And I think a lot of what happens in cyberspace is people say, yeah, this wasn't such a useful technique. or it was useful but not useful enough to merit the kind of attention we put into it or the kind of resources. So we move along.
I mean, my sense of sorry,
but it's sort of the smart ass crack that I made a few minutes ago. If that's how you want to wage warfare, given the alternatives, go right ahead. Right? We'd rather you guys be annoying than lethal.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately it's costing less lives, in just in sheer numbers.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the podcast. Don't forget our sponsor, ExpressVPN, and my book, Brexit, The Establishment Civil War, can both be found in the links in the description below. And also, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. It's the best way to help us grow. Until next time, thanks for listening. Screw the hedge funds.
You can make as many rules as you want, but if there's no teeth behind them, what's the point?
Well, like Citadel is potentially just gone in a few months. It feels like financial institutions, that they are all laughing at us by buying GME. Screw the hedge funds. Like, I will lose my entire investment if it brings them down.
Why on earth, last May, could you buy the entire company for $200 million?
What's been happening on Reddit and in social media and in the marketplace has never been seen before.
I argue that nothing is off the table. There is nothing off the table when dealing with the volumes of money in something as big as the United States stock market.
The hedge funds have clearly underestimated a group of people raised on Friday night World of Warcraft raids.
Dark pools, they're another mechanism to manipulate and cheat. Mainstream journalists don't say these things for a number of reasons. One is their sources are the people that I'm talking about, and so they can't call somebody a crook.
Superstonk and the other communities that have emerged are a hive mind, the likes of which we have never seen before. It's madness and brilliance, insanity and genius all rolled into one. It's very possible that Citadel will be gone in a few months. And not just Citadel, but the entire financial system has the potential to come crashing down. These crooks continue to gamble recklessly with the world economy, and this could be the moment that they finally get their justice.